dare they? How dare they tell a woman what she can do and cannot do with her own body? How dare they try to stop her from determining her own future? How dare they?
Angling for decades now, and we are going to fight back.
I am in utter disbelief right now. If you haven't read, Justice Alito revealed his first draft of the Mississippi abortion law, and there is a paragraph on page 9 that says the court has voted and decided to overrule Roe and Casey.
Well, it's all over Twitter, people. The Supreme Court, the corrupted Supreme Court, is going to overturn Roe v. Wade. We're now back in the dark ages. You are now in a prison. That's what men think of women.
Don't lecture me, you're mad. I'm a woman, and I am not a goddamn church mouse for this proud decision.
Coat and seed, ma'am. Coat and seed.
You guys, you know why? I'm going to your execution. Maybe we can have the conversation. Maybe we can talk about it.
So there's that. Hey, welcome everybody to a brand new episode of Revelation Communication Current Events. Man, let's jump right into things. As you can tell, maybe see, there's some people pretty unhappy over the leaked Supreme Court document, which, by the way, has never happened in the history of the Supreme Court before, but that's another conversation. That suggests, though, that the Supreme Court is getting ready to overturn Roe v. Wade. That's what all this hubbub is about. Now, let's educate ourselves for a moment, shall we? Did you know that the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade does not ban abortions in this country, which in my opinion it should be, but rather it just moves the decision on having an abortion or making abortion legal or illegal. It moves the decision down to the state level, right? So if you live in a state like California that loves to kill babies, literally nothing is going to change. But if you maybe live in a state, that's more conservative, Texas, Alabama, Florida, some of those red states, they can potentially make a decision to make abortions illegal, either outright or at a trimester or whatever the case is. But don't fret, fans of killing babies. Come on over to California and we'll kill your baby for you, no problem. I don't know what all the big deal is right now over Roe v. Wade getting overturned by the Supreme Court. Even if it does, what does it matter? The states can still do it. Listen, if you'd like to further educate yourself on Roe v. Wade, do yourself a favor and watch the deathbed confessional from Jane Roe on YouTube. You may be shocked to hear that it was all a big lie when that court case went to the Supreme Court. But continuing our abortion education, let's look at some Planned Parenthood statistics regarding reasons why females choose to have an abortion. 0.001% the pregnancy came from an incestuous relationship. 0.065% the woman's life was endangered by the pregnancy. 0.085% the woman was raped. 0.288% the woman's physical health was endangered by the pregnancy. 0.294%. The woman's psychological health was threatened by the pregnancy. I don't like this number, but 0.666%, there was serious fetal abnormality. 6.268% of those women that chose to get an abortion did so because of social or economical reasons. And finally, 92.33% of those women who choose to go into Planned Parenthood and get an abortion do so for no reason marked at all. And speaking of females having abortions, isn't it interesting how all of a sudden the left can identify a woman? I mean, before, no one could accurately define what a woman is, at least from the left side. So everyone got a say in what a woman is. Now, all of a sudden, if you're not a woman, you don't have a say. You know, the my body, my choice movement is back in action. Where the same loons, by the way, which were wishing death upon the unvaccinated because they were putting other people's health at risk by not getting vaccinated, who chose, my body, my choice, with their body, not to inject themselves with a questionable you-know-what. I have a question. What about the health of the baby you want to kill that you're putting at risk? Right? You're yelling at people that don't want to get a vaccine that are putting other people's health at risk. What about the health of the baby that you want to kill? Oh, and by the way, why is it that when a pregnant woman is murdered, it would be considered a double homicide in a court of law? But when a woman has an abortion, it's considered health care? So the courts would charge a third party with murder of a fetus, but no one bats an eye when the murder is for self-care. I want to show a picture right now that pretty much sums up the absolute craziness going on in this country right now. I wish my mom had aborted me. Now, a lot can be said about this picture, but ultimately, who says that kind of thing? What kind of mentally deranged person says something like that? Folks, this is the lunacy of the left. And the sad thing is that this young lady represents millions of other deranged individuals who think like her. Now, I mentioned this leaked Supreme Court document. Now, I've got to wonder, again, why for the first time ever was a document from the Supreme Court leaked before the justices released it to the public? Why does it seem like there's maybe a distraction going on right now? What's happening that some would rather us not pay attention to? Because clearly that leak was intentional. Did you know that Pfizer just released an 80,000-page document on its findings about the you-know-what? Did you know that part of its findings and recommendations is that women who are pregnant should not get the you-know-what? And that women who are of childbearing age should not get the you-know-what. And that if you've had at least 2 doses of the you-know-what, you should avoid getting pregnant for at least 2 months. And that if you're breastfeeding, you shouldn't get the you-know-what. Did you know that per its findings, the you-know-what had only a 12% efficacy rate versus the 95% that they sold the public on? Did you even know that Pfizer released this document, released these 80,000 pages about its findings on the you-know-what? And I wonder why there was a leak at the Supreme Court. Maybe to take our minds off of it? What else might they want to distract us from right now? How about this new ministry of truth to combat disinformation? And who is running this new ministry of truth? Her name is Nina Jankowicz. And if I had to see this video, so do you.
Laundering is really quite ferocious. It's when a huckster takes some lies and makes them sound precocious by saying them in Congress or a mainstream outlet. So disinformation's origins are slightly less atrocious. It's how you hide a little lie. It's how you hide a little lie. It's how you hide a little lie. When Rudy Giuliani shared bad intel from Ukraine, or when TikTok influencers say COVID can cause pain. They're laundering disinfo and we really should take note and not support their lies with our wallet, voice or vote. Oh, information laundering is really quite ferocious. It's when a huckster takes some lies and makes them sound precocious by saying them in Congress or a mainstream outlet. So disinformation's origin seems slightly less atrocious.
The lady's a bit of a loon, isn't she? Listen, these truth tellers are the same ones who think men can get pregnant, who believe men can menstruate and are putting tampons, by the way, now in boys' bathrooms in public schools. Oh yeah, that's a thing. And this guy right here can tell the White House press, and I quote, that the MAGA crowd is the most extreme political organization in recent U.S. history. Not BLM, not Antifa, who the left deeply supports, by the way, but the MAGA crowd is the most extreme political organization in recent U.S. history. Oh yeah, because it's the MAGA crowd that's burning down cities. It's the MAGA crowd that's rioting. It's the MAGA crowd that goes to these peaceful protests and disrupt them and pepper spray them and knock down all their equipment and beat them over the head. Yeah, it's the MAGA crowd that's doing that. Did you know who had ministries of truth? Let's look at recent history as to who else had ministries of truth within their political party. Let's try this guy. Did you know that Adolf Hitler had a ministry of truth? How'd that turn out for the Jews in World War II? Did you know that Joseph Stalin had a ministry of truth? How'd that turn out for his own people that he was executing in the Soviet Union? So I guess I can accurately say that this guy is doing what Hitler and Stalin would do. How does that make you feel, America? You know, I shouldn't probably even ask that question because some of you support this insanity. You know, I want to close with this today. And this is absolutely frightening. Did you know that 25 diplomats and heads of countries are signing an amended treaty with the World Health Organization to give them, the WHO, the ability to supersede any nation's constitutional authority during a pandemic? Thus far, most of Western Europe has signed this. France, Germany, Portugal, Italy, Spain, they've all signed on. Greece has signed on. South Korea, Chile, South Africa, Norway, Indonesia, and Ukraine are most of the nations that have already agreed to sign this amended treaty, giving authority to the WHO, the World Health Organization, during a pandemic. And of course, the World Health Organization gets to decide when and what a pandemic is. But this would give them global control and authority over all human health. Of course, if you recall from my first current events episode that I did, this is all part of the World Economic Forum's Great Reset plans. I'll flash an article up here real quick for you to read if you want to pause this video and read really what's going on within the World Health Organization. Again, frightening stuff. There's so much going on right now. So much going on. I didn't even mention the news article that talks about microplastics being found in the lungs of living people for the first time ever. You know, oddly enough, though, these are the same microplastics that are found in your common face mask sold in most drugstores and most major retails. But I'm sure that's just a coincidence, right? Anyway, I guess that's enough for now. Again, a whole lot going on. I've already got some stuff planned for next week that I want to get to and focus on. But, man, when I end, just stay tuned for the video. You know, this is a video of this guy right here laughing at our expense this past weekend at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Oh, which, by the way, not a single one was masked, excuse me. But I'm glad that this guy thinks it's hilarious that millions of Americans are struggling today to make ends meet because of his politics, because of his arrogance, but really what it is, it's because of his ignorance. Anyway, folks, that'll wrap it up for now. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Solomon Stewart with Revelation Communication, Current Events.
You know, I think ever since you've come into office, things are really looking up. You know, gas is up, rent is up, food is up, everything. No, it really has been a tough first year for you, Mr. President.